The Indianapolis Colts may have thought they found their next franchise quarterback. Anthony Richardson had flashed with some tantalizing talent, running, passing, leadership, all of the things that he brings. And of course, his fit with new head coach Shane Steichen in Indy. And now all of that has come to an end for his rookie season. He will miss the rest of this 2023 year. Jake Arthur from Locked On Colts joins me now. And Jake, this is the ultimate just letdown, I think, for Colts fans. And so what is your initial reaction when you found out, okay, this is over for this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's all but official. Like, I think we're all just waiting for them to announce it. They've been going over a lot of different opinions from doctors all across the country, but it certainly seems like they're probably going to shut him down for the year.
Yeah, we should say the expectation is based on reports that he will miss the rest of the season.
Yeah, coming from Jim Irsay himself, so pretty reliable source. I'm pretty jaded. So for me, it was, of course, like that's how this goes because this team is not normal. They're the meme of that lady yelling at her kid in the backseat to just be normal, and they're screaming. That's what the Colts are to us. I mean, it's just another quarterback situation. We can't have nice things around here, The good news is we got a very small sample size from Anthony, but there's so much to like, and to hook your claws into him still being the guy. Like no one necessarily needs to say, tank for Caleb Williams, tank for Drake May around here, because the dude has all the physical tools in the world, but he's also not going to be outworked either. His work ethic is second to none. He's always bugging his coaches to see how he can get better and things like that. So it's very unfortunate that this has already been brought to an end for this rookie season, but it just kind of is what it is for now. You got to hope that this is a very young roster. So hopefully these guys get up to speed and develop so that when he does come back next year, he's coming back to an even better group of players.
This is a very young roster, but their quarterback, Gardner Minshew, is not as young a player. He has had some success on multiple teams now coming in, though not a ton of success this past weekend. But that raises questions about what the plan should be moving forward here with this team. If you could get Joe Alt, a Marvin Harrison Jr., there are some premium players at the top of this draft who are not quarterbacks who could really help this Indianapolis team. So what is the plan if you're the Colts? What makes the most sense?
Yeah, I mean, that's been kind of a debate, what would be better, like if they wind up with a poor record and get good draft positioning, whatever. But that's not going to be what this team does. I think they'll still be competitive. They'll win the games they're probably supposed to. But I think we've seen a pretty clear ceiling with Gardner Minshew. He's just going to have to be more willing to go downfield. Otherwise, teams are going to load up that box and stop Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor. And they're going to say, Gardner Minshew, you have to beat us, which that's just not his game. Like, he's a great game manager, but when he puts on his gunslinger hat like he did last week, you see how poorly it goes. So I think this is going to be a competitive team. They're going to have their warts. There's going to be a couple rough stretches. They have the Browns and the Saints coming up, for example. Those could be pretty scary games, but overall, this is still a very generous schedule. It's not a division that any one team seems to really want to run away with it yet. So I do still see them finishing around 500.
There is a question, I think, about a setback here for Anthony Richardson, who just needed reps. Someone who, okay, now you're pushing the timeline out another year. Shane Steichen, this version of the offense with Gardner Minshew is just not going to be what they were going to be running with Anthony Richardson. You lose the whole quarterback run game. He doesn't have the big arm to push the ball down the field the same kind of way. And so what is your concern level on just stunting the development of this team in the image that they're trying to cultivate here?
Yeah, I mean, it is drastically different. I mean, with Anthony, the playbook is pretty open in terms of what you can do to attack all ends of the field. And you saw the Rams game, that kind of caught everyone's attention with the throws he's able to make with guys draped all over him.
Especially in the fourth quarter, yeah.
Yeah, but just the like residual effects of his presence is a pretty big issue as well, because you see the effect it has on his running backs when he's out there. Teams cannot zero in on that. Like the RPO game is a huge part of it when Anthony's out there, and no one is threatened by Gardner Minshew. So defenses aren't really having to hide their intentions. Like they're just stacking up. They're showing what they're going to do, and it's working so far. Now, he's had some solid performances, like when he's come off the bench and not been the starter. But in general, I mean, luckily for Shane Steichen, his intentions are to kind of be a chameleon. He's not going to it's not going to be the same scheme all the time. They want to be very multiple, and what they're going to do is mostly based on the opponent and how they attack. But still, I mean, it's gonna be a pretty big change for his teammates next year when it's him, hopefully full time for 17 games versus probably a much more conservative offense this year.